Cashiers of Reddit. What items do you secretly judge customers for purchasing? When I worked at Walmart, one of the things that used to piss me off the most was people trying to buy things with EBT that were obviously not covered. It happened all the time. People throwing a tantrum because they couldn't buy energy drinks or some random non-food item, yelling about how stupid the system was, and then taking it out on me, like I wrote the policies. Some even tried to bribe or threaten me into bending the rules. It was frustrating, and I'll admit, I got pretty jaded about the whole thing. Then there was this one day that changed my perspective. A young family came through my line, a man and a woman, probably in their mid to late 20s, with a little girl who looked about 5 or 6. Their cart was full of groceries, and I remember noticing how sensible everything was. Fresh vegetables, beans, rice, meats, dairy. None of the junk food or candy people often assume EBT users load up on. At the end of the order, though, was a box of condoms. No big deal to me. I've scanned plenty of personal items and know to keep a poker face. People have lives, and protecting themselves is smart, but when I told them the total and swiped their EBT card, it covered all the food, but not the condoms. That's when things got uncomfortable. I told them they still owed a small amount, and the look on their faces hit me like a ton of bricks. It wasn't the frustration or entitlement I was used to seeing. It was shame. Real, bone-deep shame. They didn't have the money, and they were clearly embarrassed to even be in that position. The man quietly said, "It's fine. We didn't bring cash. You can take that last thing off." It was hard to watch. I could see how much they didn't want to admit they couldn't afford it. My manager noticed something was up and came over. When she asked if everything was okay, the man explained the situation, visibly uncomfortable. I offered to pay for the condoms myself. They tried to refuse, but my manager encouraged it, reassuring them it wasn't a big deal. After they left, my manager pulled me aside. She told me she knew the family. They were old friends of hers. The man had joined the military in his early 20s to support his family. He'd served in the Middle East, where his unit was hit hard in an attack. A lot of his comrades were killed, and he was seriously injured. Gunshot wounds, shrapnel, and a messed up leg he'd have for the rest of his life. On top of the physical damage, he was battling PTSD and struggling to find work. His veteran benefits were garbage, and the wife was working 2 underpaid jobs just to scrape by. Hearing that hit me differently. It made me realize how unfair the system is, treating people who've sacrificed so much the same as the ones who scream at cashiers for not being able to buy candy or chips. This family wasn't trying to scam the system. They were just doing their best to survive with dignity despite everything they'd been through. That moment stuck with me. It changed the way I view people who rely on government aid. Not everyone's situation is the same, and not everyone's struggle is visible. Some people genuinely deserve all the help they can get, and that family made me see the bigger picture.